Success set in stone. Kendra joined by Bryce Drew.
Kendra just took a charge.
There was a lot going on there down the stretch. How did you close this one out? What did you tell your team during those last timeouts?
Reporting in Carbondale, Kendra Sheehan.
I spoke with head coach Matt Bigger coming out of the locker room. We talked about the way the Vaqueros started this game, and he said, Kendra, since we're in Vegas, it felt like we were getting Mike Tyson punched over and over and over. He said the first 9 minutes, we were just trying to find our mouthpiece. He said then we started getting consecutive stops. We started getting a little bit of traction. We started playing our brand of basketball.
It feels so good to be talking college football again. SIU had their second practice back. Now I talked to head coach Cindy Stein, who says it was a bit of disbelief at first, a little bit of shock. Like, were they really not going to let them play this game?
The more I watched the replay of it, I mean, the angle you shot it from, the way that it went in, could you have even dreamed of something like this for your final year of eligibility, your final postseason conference tournament? At the beginning of the season, you said the goal was to win a game in the tournament. How sweet is this victory?
I'm glad that you remember. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
And I asked him what the message was to his guys in the locker room. He said, we just got to get back to playing our brand of football. He said, we got to clean things up. They had 2 turnovers that led to 14 points. So we just got to go back to the basics. I asked, how do you slow a guy like Joey Hobart down? He said, that's tricky. He's one of the best players in the league. But he said, we just got to finish drives. And that's the most important part. Finish drives that lead to touchdowns, not field goals. Chris?
Kendra, thank you.
Now, a second-round pick to the Carolina Panthers, who traded up to get him. Chin says it's a complete 360 from 4 years ago, but he says this is just the beginning.
Transition defense as well as your rotational defense were huge in this game. What do you make of some of those big-time stops at the end? Coach, also, we talked about it at the half. You had 8 threes. In the second half, just 1 made three-pointer. How did you rely on that inside presence to close this one out?
Well, that was the game plan all along, Kendra. We're just going to make only 1 3-pointer in the second half.
Seattle used Cameron Tyson. Isn't the only Tyson who can sink the 3 on the Red Hawk roster. His brother, DeMarcus, is on the coaching staff after playing at the University of Portland and then professionally overseas.
There are no easy games in the National Football League. However, in today's matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Jets, we all walked in knowing things could get ugly quick for the bottom feeders of the AFC East.
Coach, you take over a program this year that just had 6 conference wins last year. This year, you're well above 500, and you win a game in the WAC postseason tournament. What is it about this team and the buy-in? Coach, Aziz Bandago, back-to-back blocks, then back-to-back dunks. What did he unleash in this second half? I had a chance to talk with head coach Raven Justice coming out of the locker room, and she talked about the importance of securing the basketball in this second half. She said 10 turnovers is way too many. We need to value each and every possession. She said the 12 offensive rebounds were great, but they mean nothing if we can't get those second chance points.
Check in with our super sleuthy spy, Kendra Sheehan. What'd you find out, Kendra?
Check out the guy on your screen. He's behind CBU's bench. That is Assistant Director of Development for Athletics, Edison Kang, waving that flag. He said 2 years ago he was here in Vegas with that exact flag when the Lancers won the tournament, and he said he's got superstitions. He wasn't able to come back last year, and so he had to make the trip out here. He said he loses his voice after every game. His arms are absolutely dead from waving it all game long, but he said it makes the team smile. It helps them play loose, and that's all that matters. Michael?
Thanks, kid.
You told me Cameron Gooden couldn't do it all on his own. Of course, he drops 22 points, but Frank Stain gets a huge and one. Isaiah Pope steps up. How much confidence is this team playing with right now?
That's what this team is.
Thanks, Adam. These two teams are very familiar with each other, having just played last Thursday, Utah Tech, winning that game. And when I spoke to Utah Valley head coach Dan Nielsen, he said it was really a close battle until that fourth quarter. He said one thing we cannot do is get into a shootout with this team, especially the way that the Trailblazers shoot the 3. He said it's going to be imperative that we lock down on defense